So, namaste everyone. Now, let's begin with the chapter on bondage and freedom. So, let's offer a prayer for better understanding of what Lalaji Maharaj has been trying to convey us. Okay, let's begin. Bondage and freedom. Lalaji starts with saying, artificial feeling and the idea of firmness of artificial relationship was a form of mental conception, just like religion. I mean, this is a heavy blow to everything that we have understood. He's compared this mental conception of artificial feeling, artificial relationship. He compares it with religion. This itself, I think, we have to rethink over what religion is and how we play our day-to-day mischiefs with relations and feelings. And he calls these feelings and relationships as artificial. Artificial, commonly understood, means not natural. Spiritually, I understand that as not being authentic, not being sincere about your relationship, or not being sincere with your own heart. Only when we are not sincere with our own heart, we end up having artificial feelings. All kinds of complex responses we get from the heart, not to your liking, and you are internally never satisfied with such things. Yet, we somehow remain intoxicated with this artificiality, just to pump up our ego, pump up our pride, even at the cost of relationships, even at the cost of personal heart feelings that sacrifices our contentment. Let's see further. It was a play of the willpower of human beings being unidirectional. This is quite obvious. Unidirectional meaning you are used to thinking in one way only, just as in olden days when you were walking on a muddy road or when you were taking a bullock cart on a mud road, another bullock cart passes or another human being passes on that mud road, it becomes a permanent road kind of. In one direction, when multiple individuals keep on moving, it becomes a tradition. What has become of many religions is it's a similar outcome, unidirectional. Now the question is, how is this life a bondage? The answer is that the thought alone has made this play a cause of bondage. So when we are used to one way of thinking, don't we say that this person always thinks like this. We label them as troublemakers. We label them as doubters who keeps on doubting us. There are individuals we tell them, oh, he's such a Romeo. This is the path they have created, and based on the path they have created, their reputation also goes on like that. Say, oh, so and so is a religious person, so and so is a spiritual person, so and so is a wise person. So our lifestyle defines us in that way. And how this plays out individually, forget about others, but individually myself, how do I get trapped with this bondage of one-way thinking. It's okay, so and so is thinking like that, or so and so can be labeled as that. Forget them for a moment. What about myself? What are my limitations? What is unidirectional thing in my heart? What is my constant habit of brooding over one thing? Why am I thinking always in certain way? Why am I always feeling in certain way? That bondage, how did I end up creating that? This aspect of bondage is not new to us, or it was not new to 1,000 years back. It has been going on in the minds of many people. Take, for example, Raja Janak. His very first question to Ashtavakra is how to free oneself from bondage. One of the questions out of three, one was this: how to get out of the bondage and arrive at freedom. There, Ashtavakra says, abandon these Vishayas as Visham. Let's see what Lalaji Maharaj has to say. He says, desire gave birth to greed in mind. It held the mind steadfast. This desire resulting in greed becomes a kind of obsession. When we ponder over these various aspects of desires, many individuals, including myself, have questioned this, that if I do not have desires, then what is the point of this life? If I do not have desires, then how do I understand this restlessness to arrive in a state what we call sayujjata, or merging in God, or merging in the Master, or even arriving at peace of mind? Is this not a desire? We can logically say these are all desires, but are they really desires? So we'll have to classify things. One classification of desires. Is it related to this body, this world? And even if it is, how do I deny the luxury or the comfort? If I have no desires, then I'll have to sleep in forest perhaps. If I don't look for comfort of a house or protecting my son away from the heat, or not protecting myself away from severe cold, icy stuff all around me, to escape these things, will not my body rebel and say, oh, you better find some comfortable place? Or when I'm working for someone and there is a need in my house, my child's fees have to be, paid 2 lakhs rupees, for example, or even 20,000, doesn't matter how much, and I don't have it. And I wish that I had those 20,000 rupees or 2 lakhs rupees to pay as fees. Is this a desire? When I'm having a meal and a desire comes to have a mango, should I fulfill it? You had a fight with your spouse. Instantly your heart becomes bitter and say, oh, to hell with this. Should you desire and say, enough is enough, I'm not going to be with this person? How do we classify things so that life can lead in a peaceful way with a greater understanding and also fulfill my spiritual goals? Sahaj Marg is not about abandoning material life for a spiritual or spiritual life for abandoning. We are trying to have a balance. Our masters have never advocated that stop doing business or stop going to work. If you can love individual, go ahead, love millions. They have advocated a philosophy to integrate everything into one. When I perform my duties at home, when my son needs 2 lakh rupees, I will have to earn money, I'll have to work, I'll have to find different ways of running a business so that I can earn money, so that I can fulfill the duties in the house. But the question remains, what to what limits I can. When we follow our heart, automatically we understand these are my needs, let them be fulfilled. My God, I need your help. Needs will always be fulfilled. Babuji Maharaj has given us a guarantee. All our personal needs, roti, kapda, makan, food, clothing and shelter. No sincere seeker of heartfulness way of Sri Ramchandra mission of Sahaj Marg will ever remain without this. It's a promise, God's promise. I do not know how many of you do know the story behind this promise. It was quite interesting. Babuji Maharaj used to fast on Janmashtami. He was asked to fast for 2 days if he could. But minimum he was advised to fast for a day. He used to be on a liquid diet. Lord Krishna would request him that on this day, please transmit to all my devotees, whoever is worshipping, whoever is fasting on this day, whoever is doing this, this Zula, Zula and Nandalal, you transmit to them, this is your duty. So Babuji Maharaj says, I'll happily do it. It's an honor. Thank you. But I request you one thing, my Lord. All sincere seekers of spirituality in Sahaj Marg should not be without roti, kapra and makan. And Lord Krishna, it is said that he promised Babuji Maharaj that it will be so. So please remember this idea, moderated desires. I think it will be a better thing to come up with. See, those days when Ashtavakra mentioned about shunning Vishaya Jad Visham, desires as poison, I think the concepts must have been quite different, the way we understand karma and shrama from Gita. Vishayas, they were all related to sensual things. Always, craving for sensual pleasures. That was the intention when Janaka asked, and Ashtavakra replied. There should not be obsession. Lalaji Maharaj here, he says, desire should not grow to the extent that it becomes unidirectional. Unidirectional means one-way thinking, like buffaloes, going only in one direction, only wanting that, nothing else. Wish this buffalo attitude was there towards God realization, see. But that too should have moderation, see. One should not become so overzealous with meditation also that it becomes appalling to the family members. You meditate, it is prescribed, no more than an hour in the morning. If your spouse is cooperating and you feel like meditating again, meditate together for additional time. So we have to strike a level of moderation, see. Both should be integrated, see. When I'm running a business and when I'm connected inwardly with the higher source, even material approaches become spiritual. When you're filling a prescription, when I was filling prescriptions, I considered that as a worship. So it's up to us how we can change our acts and make them gain some height. Drug addicts, for example, or alcohol addicts, or any sort of addiction pulls you in that direction only, which is unidirectional. I was telling, these fellows like buffaloes, unidirectional. See. Similarly, a spiritually drunk individual can also become obsessed with external feature, external practices of spirituality. In religious tradition, they go from one external source of worship to another external source of worship. One dham or one tirth is not enough. They have to move to char dham or panch dham or 100 dhams, and still, even then, they will not find peace. They will not be contented. They will express the contentment. Oh, I visited so many dhams, char dham yatra kiya. But again, this feeling that it creates in our heart that humne ye kiya, humne wo kiya, I have done this or I have done that, it's only pompous act, unidirectional. Even in spirituality, people say, I attended so many Basant celebrations, I attended so many Babaji celebrations or Chariji celebrations. You remember, 1999 was promoted as, if you attend this, you'll achieve the highest. Every now and then our preceptors would say, oh, attend this Bandara, you will be changed forever. Ask yourself a question, have you? I am not demeaning the role of Bandaras, but the attitude with which we move around, prepare ourselves for Bandara, attend Bandara, and our post Bandara lifestyle, when we reflect, I think it conveys a lot to us, but we need to reflect on it, see. We need to understand why and how of sublime states that we can enjoy and transcend. So, no obsession of any sort, even in the field of spirituality. When we talk of desires and we say, I will not make money. When we talk of desires and we say, I am not going to make money. How is it to be taken? Then what are you trying to become? If you don't make money, what will happen to your family? So to me, I think we have to understand duties, that how best I can support my family, my community if I can. There is no evil in earning money, but through rightful means. The methodology of understanding all this is already given to us in 10 Maxims by Babuji Maharaj, a kind of a lifestyle. So we can follow those principles and curb the extent of our two banks limiting our freedom. I need to know my limits. To what extent? If you feel like making a lot, okay, you're making 1 crore. And you feel like making 2 crores. Go ahead and make 2 crores. But remember Babuji's maxim, earn with honest means. And later, lead a life that will be in tune with nature. When we put these two together, then you will know what my limits are. But do not flag and say that desires are altogether bad. No. Allow some desires to play in such a way that you are in a position to fulfill your family obligations. If good-hearted people stop earning money, stop running businesses, industries, what will happen to this society? Only bad elements will take over such a society, and those who has finance in the society will rule such a society. And when bad people rule the society, then what? You all know the consequences. We are all going through it now. How many politicians are good enough to run a nation? Exceptionally, yes, one or two. But by and large, you wish you were also in their position. Honest people, they wish that I wish I was a politician, I wish I was a prime minister, I wish I was a chief minister, I can change the country. But it cannot happen unless and until many come together. Many people shun the idea of politics that it is only for bad people. And when honest and good-hearted people abandon politics, then what do you expect? Who will run the nation? You have left it for them to run the show. Similarly, if you give up this idea of making money through honest means, you are leaving it to others to flourish in the material world, and you will be subdued by them. Terrorists, bad-hearted people, criminals, they will rule you then, say. So, desires should not be so taken as such a visham type of a thing or poisonous kind of a thing. Ashtavakra says treat them as poison, okay. But then we have to understand the nature of desire. See. If I am working for a company and I desire a promotion, is it bad? Is this against santosham? So only individual can answer this question, that if my act fulfills what Babaji Maharaj given to us in maxims, then it's okay. Please reflect on this and do not misunderstand the statement of Ashtavakra to treat Vishayas as Visham, because Vishayas have a different meaning. See, Vishaya, anything related to sensuousness, desires of that kind, where you're not satiated with one life partner, where you are always trying to fulfill your sensuous beyond the control, where it becomes abnormal, where it becomes a greed of some sort, where you are obsessed, your mind is always in unidirection, obsessed, like a drunkard, like a buffalo. Okay, so we need fellows moving towards sublime states, not the fellows who tend to become buffaloes. Namaskar.